In this section, we're going to talk a little bit about geothermal energy and using hydrogen for energy. So geothermal energy, geo meaning earth, thermal meaning heat. So this is using the earth, the heat from the earth, in order to heat our homes. So this is not available in all areas of the world. This is only available in areas where we have magma that's in the mantle that's a little bit closer to the surface and closer to the top of the crust. That allows us to, and it stores the water that's stored within the rocks and things like that, get heated up, and it gives us some energy that we can use in the crust itself. So in this one, what you see are tubes of water. This area right here is all coils of tubing that are filled with water, and the cold water is forced in, and then it heats up in the earth, and then it comes back into the home, and then it is run through a radiator, and then that can heat the home. So it's very efficient, which is great. It's all underground, so you have a lot less heat loss that's in there. You get some good energy out of it. You don't get a lot of fossil fuel emissions. Obviously, you're not going to have, if you're using it like the heat pump that we just saw in the home, you're not going to have any fossil fuel emissions because there's a little pump that's running some stuff, so I guess maybe a touch, but not too much. It's going to be low land use and low land disturbance because it's going to be right around homes and things like that. But there's only certain places where you can use this. It's not widely available around the world. Iceland is a good example of a place where they use geothermal energy a lot. But if they take all that heat out, it's not really necessarily getting replaced all the time. So, and especially if they're pulling steam out of areas, because there's different ways that you can actually pipe the steam also. That one was a geothermal pump, but they can also basically drill for it and pipe the steam out, and that's what this lower picture is showing. And so in that case, if they deplete the steam, then they've depleted the source. So they have to be careful about how they use it in those areas. Hydrogen is another possibility for a renewable resource. There's some things that we still have to kind of figure out. Hydrogen cars will actually break down the hydrogen and the oxygen in water. And so, I mean, think about this. How cool would that be if all you needed to put in your car was water? And your car broke apart the hydrogen and the oxygen, and then you had fuel to run on. I mean, it would be really cool, but that takes energy to do it, and there's a lot of waste energy that comes from that. The fuel cells are expensive. There are hydrogen fuel cell cars where the hydrogen tanks are kind of underneath the car itself, and so you have to look at the safety of the vehicle and they have to make sure that it's very safe, that those hydrogen tanks are very protected, so in the case of an accident you don't have problems with explosions and things like that. So there are some pluses and minuses to this one. It hasn't really taken off all that much or all that well. It's expensive, I think, is probably one of the main reasons, and there hasn't been really much incentive to really explore and to put a lot of money for research and development into hydrogen fuel cells.